Good morning, everyone. I just want to give a can you hear me? Or you can hear me too well. I just want to give all of you a very warm welcome. I'm Susan Slater, President and CEO of DC Habitat for Humanity of Washington, D.C., and this is a very, very special day for us. It is a groundbreaking ceremony in two ways. First of all, we're going to be breaking ground on 12 new affordable home ownership units for families at 50% of area median income. A very special kind of thing to build in the District of Columbia right now. And this is truly a groundbreaking collaboration between the private sector, Level 2 development, and DC Habitat for Humanity. It's innovative because we are able to do this between the nonprofit sector and the private sector. We have a lot of regulation from the District of Columbia to make sure we do it right, but we are doing it without money from the District of Columbia. Construction of these homes will be part of the public benefits package for the High Line, which is going to be built, the High Line at Union Market, which is an apartment project in Northeast on Florida Avenue. And we are going to be receiving a contribution from David Franco at Level 2 in a few minutes. And I deeply want to thank Level 2 for their tremendous creativity and dedication to affordable home ownership in the district. We especially want to thank the Pentagon Federal Credit Union, which supplied critical acquisition financing for this project. And there's no better financial institution right now for DC Habitat to go to than President James Skank and the Executive Vice President Debra Ames-Naylor, who's going to say a couple words. And of course, I want to deeply thank the mayor for coming to this innovative moment. And I just want to thank you profoundly for your unwavering support to low-income homeownership in the district. It's truly remarkable, and I understand it is nationally remarkable. Before I turn over the podium to the chair of our board, I'd like to acknowledge a few other people. We have many board members from DC Habitat. If you could raise your hands. Thank you so much. Because each of these board members went through this deal with a fine-tooth comb for a long, long time. It took a while. So all of them worked hard. I also want to thank all of the DC Habitat staff and construction people and, of course, our volunteers. And now I'd like to introduce a very key person, the chairman of the DC Habitat Board, Mr. John Duduk.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Duduk, and I have the privilege of serving as the chairman of the Habitat for Humanity of Washington, D.C.'s Board of Directors. This is a momentous occasion for Washington, D.C. and for our affiliate. I'd like to take this time to thank L2 Development and David Franco for his contributions and support over the past year to make this partnership a reality. As many of you might know, L2 Development specializes in residential and mixed-use development. Since it was founded in 2005, it's built more than 1,500 residential units and over 75,000 square feet of retail space. And when L2 enters a community, it develops strong relationships with the stakeholders in that community. And this collaboration is an innovative private-public partnership that's the first of its kind for Habitat DC. We at Habitat DC believe that everyone deserves a home, a house to call home. And our mission is to try to end or eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness in our nation's capital. We hope that this collaboration today will serve as a model for Habitat to build on and to serve many more families in need. We aspire to invest in and upgrade our local communities, and by doing that, give a hand up to a number of low-income families that adds to the rich diversity of our nation's capital. So as a way of closing, I'd like to thank the mayor for coming today. I'd like to thank the DC councilman members for coming today, especially Councilman Kenyon McDuffie from Ward 5. And then, of course, also a special thanks goes to Penn Fed for their unwavering support for Habitat DC. And then I'd also like to thank all those other people that make our work possible, our donors, our volunteers, and of course our exceptional staff at Habitat DC. Thank you again for coming.
Okay, thank you. This is the kickoff of Community Development Week for the Coalition for Nonprofit Housing and Economic Development. And this is a special groundbreaking for us, but we're part of a larger citywide set of activities. And I want to introduce Steve Glaude, who's the president and CEO of the Coalition for Nonprofit Housing and Economic Development.
Thank you, Susan. Good morning, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Habitat for this project and all the work that they do throughout the city. And thanks for letting us kick off Community Development Week here in the district. The District of Columbia is fortunate to have a robust infrastructure of nonprofits, mission-driven for-profits, lenders, and government leaders who foster community development efforts serving our communities and residents. These community development organizations, agencies, and leaders provide, foster, finance, and support affordable housing, job creation, business development, homelessness prevention, workforce development, and essential human services, which preserve and develop individuals and families and preserve neighborhoods. CNHED represents this infrastructure of community development, particularly nonprofits who have worked tirelessly for decades. We are honored to set aside the second week of October each year to draw attention to their efforts and celebrate their accomplishments. During Community Development Week, we will annually recognize the essential contributions of this work, the organizations and leaders who support it, in the hopes of getting our legislators, funders, media, and residents to better know their dedication, hard work, outcomes, and contributions toward making equitable communities a reality in the District of Columbia. And I want to thank the mayor for issuing a proclamation so designating this week as DC Community Development Week. Thank you all very much.
Okay, we mentioned the importance of Pentagon Federal Credit Union. I want to introduce the Executive Vice President, Debra Ames-Naylor, who will just say a few words, and without her, this would not be happening.
Well, good morning. PenFed Credit Union has been around since 1935, but our mission and our philosophy as a credit union is about people helping people. And I can't think of a better partnership than working with Susan and DC Habitat, who's focused on helping people and finding affordable housing and building the affordable housing. And we are just so honored to be part of this mission of people helping people and creating homeownership to the district residents that's affordable. So thank you, Susan, for the collaborative effort and letting us be part of this.
Okay, once we build these homes, which will be in short order, I promise level 2, the entire project and the residents selection will be overseen by the DC Department of Housing and Community Development, and the director, Polly Donaldson, is a key part of what we're doing here today.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be able to say that this kind of public-private partnership, creative, innovative, is exactly where our mayor's vision and leadership in the affordable housing arena is taking us, and I'm very appreciative to be able to be here and say that we look forward to these houses being done as part of our oversight of the inclusionary zoning program of the district. This is the program that mandates affordable housing be part of every market rate housing development in the district. And this is a great example of creatively looking at how to revitalize and rebuild in neighborhoods with affordable housing as well as market rate housing at the same time. And this is a great example of that. Families will be served. These are 3-bedroom units. They are with, and this will accommodate some of our larger families that are needing housing, and it will be at the 50% AMI level, so families of 4 making $60,000 or less who will be eligible to become homeowners here. We look forward to working with Habitat. We appreciate the efforts of Level 2, David Franco, and again, we will be here with you. Thank you much.
we are very honored to have the woman who was the chair of the Neighborhood Advisory Commission who approved all of this. You don't get anything done unless you get through the ANC. And so Commissioner Kathy Henderson would like to just say a couple words, and I want to deeply thank her for her commitment to 50% AMI homeownership.
Good morning. This is a great opportunity. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Level 2. Thank you, Habitat for Humanity. Thank you, community. Everyone that had a hand in this project. At the ANC 5D, we did our job to approve a project that is wonderful, groundbreaking, precedent making. And we appreciate being right here in a community that so many had written off for so long. And now things are moving in a direction that lends hope to not only every person in this community, throughout our city, and now, thank you, Mayor Bowser, we're a national standard. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, you've probably gathered that none of this would have happened without David Franco, who's the principal and co-founder of Level 2 Development. And I just want to say that he is one of the most creative, persistent, amazing people that I've ever worked with, and I'd like to introduce David Franco.
Thank you, Susan, for those kind words. This is truly a special day. It's one of those days in the cycle of a development that lasts forever, and it's one of those moments where it's the most meaningful in the cycle of developments. You know, there's some great days like when you finish a project and you get your first lease, but the work that we've done, the work that all of us have done at DC Habitat, Office of Planning, the Zoning Commission, the ANC led by Commissioner Henderson, is truly groundbreaking, and it's today we celebrate the efforts of all of those people who have come together to make this possible. Many of you are probably saying, well, why are we doing this? Why are we thinking outside the box? Why have we contributed these funds to create affordable housing off-site when we can do it on-site? And the inspiration really goes back to several years ago when we had an opportunity to do a similar public benefit for the tenants, the Sankofa Tenants Association of the Crest Hill Apartments. Introduced to us by Jubilee Housing, these tenants were facing displacements. 48 units were going to be falling into market rate hands, and these residents displaced after many generations. We came up with a plan to contribute $1 million to save this building, and the impact, the change that we saw of those residents over the course of the several years was truly impactful, and it really resonated with us. And so our takeaway from that was, how can we continue to affect affordable housing in a more meaningful level in every project that we do? And so when the Highline project was on the drawing boards, we sat around the table and thought, how are we going to create more meaningful affordable housing for this project? 8% at 80% of the area median income is not going to put a dent in the needs for families at the lower levels of affordability. And so we rolled up our sleeves. We were introduced to Habitat for Humanity. We saw the great work that they were doing, and we just thought it was a natural fit to partner up with DC Habitat. But I can tell you, even after seeing the work that they did, what really cemented our commitment and our conviction was when we came out here at a central place and we saw some homes that were being developed right across the street, and I had the opportunity to meet Andrea Morgan. Where is she? She's in this crowd somewhere. Andrea. I had the opportunity to meet Andrea. I walked into this house under construction, and there was Andrea sitting on the step painting a spindle on the banister. She had a volunteer shirt on. And I asked her, why are you doing this? Why are you here? she said, I'm doing my part to help change the lives of a family who is going to one day live in this home. And I said, that's incredibly altruistic of you. And she said, I too am a family in need, and I'm going to be the recipient of a Habitat for Humanity home right down the street. And with that, she jubilantly said, let me give you a tour of my house. I had the opportunity to really get to know Andrea over the course of the past year. I've had dinners with her family on several occasions. I understood the needs that her family had, and it really profoundly impacted me and our commitment to move forward with this plan. It was not an easy one. It was unorthodox. It was outside the box. It required a lot of legal counsel and a lot of sleepless nights figuring out how to make this work. But everyone's commitment here is really a testament to the challenges that face us here in the district and our willingness to think outside the box to put together a plan. And so here's what we did. We decided to take 13 of the 26 units that we were going to provide on site at 80% of the area median income, and we decided to partner up with Habitat and build 13 of those units off-site. Now, why is this important to build them off-site? Because we're taking 13 units that were at 80% of AMI, and there is 600 square feet, and with our contribution in developing these with Habitat, we're creating 13 three-bedroom homes at 50% of the area median income and for sale rather than rental, giving these homeowners an opportunity to change their lives, giving them a step up, giving them opportunities for themselves along with their families for many generations to come. We think this is a model that should be used throughout the district. And maybe for, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Maybe another development could tweak a little bit, but it's important for us to think outside the box and how we can create more meaningful affordability for residents of the district. And so we encourage developers throughout the city to take note and use this as an example. The Zoning Commission recently rewrote the zoning requirements, the inclusionary zoning, and that's a big step towards addressing the issue. But there are other tools here, and this is one of them, and we're happy to talk to any developer who wants to pursue this as well. So with that, I want to make a presentation to Habitat for Humanity. May I have Geoff Blum come up here? Okay. Susan, this $1.3 million contribution represents a contribution for 12 of the 13 homes that Level 2 is committing to build as part of our affordability goals for the High Line at Union Market. We still have one more home to go. We have no doubt that Habitat for Humanity will identify that, and we will contribute another $100,000, making our total contribution $1.4 million. I also want to make one more thank you, and that is to our partners at Clark Enterprises. Without their understanding and their commitment to affordable housing, this also would not be possible. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. And now I'd like to join the others to come up for a groundbreaking ceremony.
To the mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to first introduce the mayor.
I checked this morning.
There they are. Good. That's good. Congratulations. This is awesome.
Well, good morning, everybody.
It is great to be here with all of you, with Habitat, with David, Franco, and Geoff at Level 2 to talk about what we've certainly been focused on these last 20 months, and that's how to build more affordable housing in Washington, D.C. So let me join in thanking Habitat and their board. Give them another round of applause. Level 2. CNHED and PenFed. I love credit unions, by the way, and we especially love when credit unions are investing in DC. In the Ward 5 community, ANCs, council member, neighbors, give yourselves a round of applause because you're welcoming some great new families to your community. So when we started just 20 months ago now, I made some promises about affordable housing, and that was that no matter what taxes generated for our Housing Production Trust Fund, and it turns out it's been about $50 million each year, we would pledge $100 million to investments in the Housing Production Trust Fund. We've taken it to calling that hashtag HPTF100. Are you with me? Yeah. On Twitter, HPTF100. And getting it. So that is our commitment. So each budget year when I go to the council, and we've done it twice now, we're going to do it again next year, we're investing a total of $100 million in the Housing Production Trust Fund. That's important because what we hear from nonprofit developers like Habitat, from other developers like Level 2, is that they are ready to build affordable housing. And it's important that they have a consistent and predictable pipeline of investment coming from our government. It's also important for them to know that the government's not going to sit on it, but actually get it out the door. And just last week, Polly Donaldson from DHCD and our DHCD team, we announced that in our first full budget year in FY16, not only did we get the $100 million committed and out the door, we got $106 million committed and out the door. And we're the first administration that's been able to say that we've made that significant of an investment in affordable housing, and we've done it in a single year, which means we have the right leaders, we have the right commitment, and we have the right partners who want to work with the district to build affordable housing. So what I love about this concept is that we're leveraging our investments all over the city to create home ownership right here in Ward 5. And that's an important a step for us to make. Many of you have heard me say what being able to buy an affordable home in a great neighborhood meant for my life. And I still count it as one of the best decisions I ever made to buy a $125,000 house in a great neighborhood. And that neighborhood helped me become an ANC commissioner, a council member, and take that vision across the city. So we're committed to home ownership in the Bowser administration and working with developers who are creative, who I know Level 2, and when they build something, it looks great. Right? They have a great aesthetic and a great sense of how to make affordable housing in all of our neighborhoods. And Habitat, we don't have to say too much more about what you do in the lives of families, and the ideas of having families and other volunteers put that sweat equity into their home. It makes a real difference. So we're all about sweat equity in our administration, and we know Habitat is and working with communities. The last thing I'll say is you'll hear me talking about anytime we talk about affordable housing, we talk about creative financing. Sometimes people think, well, hey, why don't you all just build some more housing? Well, if it was that simple, we wouldn't have an affordable housing issue to contend with. It takes creative thinking and financing and leveraging funds from private and public and philanthropic sources to get these things done. And we are putting our best minds on these solutions. So I'm looking forward. I congratulate Habitat on this contribution, and I'm looking forward to welcoming 13 families to Ward 5.
Excuse me. I'm coming down. I am open shut right now.
You open? Okay. Excuse me, no, you can stand there. Sorry, miss. We're happy to share.
Okay, are we ready? So, you want to do it, David?
1, 2, 3.
Real proud.
Deeper.
I know. We have to really. Thank you so much.